You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel. National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks MLB update. Let me stop this music because I know what happens when we don't. Happy to have you all with us here today again. Bet US, Bet Us. Boy, I don't know why I keep doing that. Play responsibly, guys. We'll talk more about betting on the Sunday Stream of Conscious because we got college and football coming up. But this is the MLB update, so we're going to talk everything we can MLB related. I'm trying to get a little louder here without my fan causing a problem. So if somebody hears something, let me know. Want to welcome everybody watching this morning on Facebook, this afternoon on Facebook, YouTube, the TGI Sports Talk outlets, our Roku affiliate, National Streaming Sports. Guys, if you haven't downloaded the National Streaming Sports Roku channel, do so. You get to see Keith's giant head on a bigger screen. Also, shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media, who does some great stuff out of Pittsburgh there, specifically the Sports Corner with Smoking Jim Frazier every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Yours truly makes a few appearances on there from time to time. We also want to thank the groups that allow us to share, and all of them. There's lots of you. And anybody who pops into my shows, I always give a chance to promote their group or their podcast or whatever it might be. But specifically, we've been mentioning recently Sports Authorities with John Gonzalez. Tremendous. One of the best run groups out there, without a doubt. Greg Rawlings, speaking of great groups, Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime, the love for baseball. Flo and the gang over there at the Bottom Line Sports. Ken Krause over at Golf Buds, sports of all sorts. And, of course, LTS, Let's Talk Sports, who we do still share our shows to their group. It's their Facebook page and such. Quick shout out to Mackie Sasser, my guest this morning on 101 with Keith Engle. Want to thank him. We had a great hour in a few minutes. Mackie was awesome. If you remember, catcher with the Mets, originally with originally with the Giants and the Pirates and the Mets, then back to Seattle, then back to the Pirates, and back. He made a successful trip around baseball for quite some time. Became a very successful college coach at Wallace Community College after his career, 25 years, and he just retired as the athletic director as well recently. So kudos to him. Great job, and kudos to you, all of you who participated, and we'll see it later. I haven't done any sharing of that yet either, but a busy, busy day. What's going on in baseball? Guys, 15 games left. 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Sunday, we'll be done, and we'll have our playoff slots set. We'll look at where we stand today. Yankees are back in first place. The wild card races are really there's the AL East, maybe one other division. I mean, they're not set. You're 4.5 games back right now. With 15 left, you're struggling. We'll look at everybody who's hot and who's not. Of course, the White Sox, 126 games right now. They've got 114 losses to date, on a pace for 126. God bless them. This record's finally going to fall. Yankees, who's hot? Nobody's terribly hot. The Phillies are 8-2 with an 8-game lead over the Mets. The Mets are 8-2, move back into that third wild card spot in the National League. We'll talk more about that. Francisco Lindor with a huge home run when the Mets were getting no hit the other night. Again, I keep talking, and we'll talk today. Is Ohtani a shoe-in for the NL MVP? Is Judge a shoe-in for the AL MVP? Shouldn't Witt and Lindor be considered? Talk about that. I'll say the Yankees are hot only because they've moved 2 games ahead of the Orioles with 15 to play. Maybe we'll look at their schedule. Who else is hot? 7-3 Pirates, but so what? 4 in a row, you're done. The Dodgers have pulled a little bit more ahead in the West, but nothing exciting. White Sox 2-8 in their last 10. No surprise there. They're not. I laughed when I should have taken odds. I could have, on Bet Us or any of the sports books, you could have got some pretty good odds that they wouldn't break this record a month ago. I was certain they would. God bless them. So we'll get into the standings here in a little bit. I mean, we can talk about lots of stuff too. There's a couple things. Of course, there's something ticking me off. I'm not in quite the mood I was in last Friday. Or even Wednesday. AC, I don't know if AC's with us today or not, but AC saw me fired up on Wednesday night in the college football huddle. Good afternoon, pesky Dodger blue jacket. Keep that going. I wear this now for the Major League Baseball update just to give Danny a good feeling that down deep, maybe I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm really a Dodger fan. Couldn't be anything further from the truth. 77, 78, my favorite seasons in all of baseball. I've been alive. I don't know if I ever told you that, Danny. My favorite baseball game of all time. I want to give you a chance to guess, Danny. My favorite baseball game of all time. You get one guess, and then I'll fill you in. You're kidding. Which, are you serious? Is it Stevie? Please tell me who it is. Jeez, Rick, fill me in there. That's some sad news for us Perthites. I know Stevie and Orpel's had some health problems. I don't know if it was him or one of the brothers. Anyway, Danny, you got one shot. I don't want to bring the show down, but that's some sad news. But you get one shot, Danny. Tell me who you think that is. A couple things ticking me off today, too, before we get into the standings and the playoff races and blah, blah, blah. That's so sad. My heart goes out. Steven's been following the show a lot. So Steven was a few years behind me in school. I want to say 2 years, maybe 3 years behind me. Might be probably no more than that. Had some health issues the last couple of years. Very sad. Just a great guy. Great guy. So our heartfelt condolences to Steven's family and all the Orpellos. It's a big family and it's a close-knit family, and we hope they're okay. Rest in peace, my friend. So back. No, you're wrong. Not the 3 home run game. Or throwing his butt out. That was a good one. Now, it was a 78 series, yes. So the Reggie throwing his butt out was game 4, I want to say. My favorite World Series game of all time is game 3 of the 1978 World Series, Danny. Yankees were down 2-0, as you might remember. You're a little younger than me, but I think you'd remember. And Ron Guidry, who had a tremendous year that year, 25-3, was getting rocked. Walking guys right and left. And Greg Nettles, who was one of my guys. Bobby Mercer was my original guy. But Greg Nettles was I had a lot of guys, but I played shortstop and I moved to third base later in my career. Ward number 9. Nettles was a great player. And he saved about 5 runs all by himself. That's my favorite game. You're 18? We're the same age. You're 64? I thought you were younger than that. Where are all these young kids you're following around sports? Are your grandkids? Oh, look at me. It's like grilling you like I'm the Gestapo here. Let's try to get back on the track here because I feel really bad now about Steven. That's really sad. I do appreciate you letting me know, though, Steve, Rick. And I hope you're doing better too, by the way, buddy. Glad you were able to be there for the whole Mackie Sasser interview today. We had a lot of fun. Anyway, what's bugging me? July 6, 1960. All right, grandkids. Okay. All the cool kids were born in August, by the way, just so you know. Turned 64 myself in August. I still haven't got to what's really ticking me off. So MLB in their infinite wisdom to turn MLB, Major League Baseball, into NASCAR. It's not enough. I got to see all these overlays and the backstops and behind the mound. I got to see little advertising things. In the World Series, you're going to see on both sides of helmets, like their football logo, Strauss. It's a German manufacturer or something. I don't know. Not even an American company, by the way, a German company. We're going to advertise. It's going to be on both sides of the helmets, and it will also be used in every minor league game, I believe, in 25 through 20, I think 25 to 27 seasons. I saw a mock-up of one today. It's awful. I just don't understand. I'm so tired of this NASCARification of baseball. And we knew this was coming, but I'm still not happy. Anyway, another thing ticking me off, the Twins prospect, this kid, I'm glad the Twins released him. I don't know if you saw this story. I believe it was a single A. Let me pull up my, I believe this guy, I don't think he was a low draft pick. Let me see. The kid's name is Derek Bender. They released him on Thursday after he told opposing hitters what was coming to the plate during a bat to the game last week that eliminated his team from playoff contention. Not only weren't they done yet, they had a chance to win. He was a 6th-round draft pick out of Coastal Carolina in July. He was playing for the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles, Twins single-A affiliate. In the second game of a September 6th doubleheader, Bender told multiple hitters on the Lakeland Tigers, and I'd heard this morning, this went on for like several innings, and I didn't know until the manager told the Lakeland, not Lakeland, the Fort Myers manager, what pitches were coming. Lakeland scored 4 runs in the second inning and won this game 6-0. And he said afterwards, he was just tired and wanted to go home. I don't see that in this story. I heard that the way it was reported this morning. And when his manager confronted him about it, he said, I just wanted to get the season over with. Are you kidding me? This would be bad enough they were eliminated. When I first heard the story this morning, I thought I heard they were eliminated. And then I hear they're still in the playoff hunt. I mean, again, they probably weren't going to make it. What team signs this guy? Are you signing a guy that this is his history? His first experience in professional baseball is, I was tired and I wanted to go home. Oh, my God. You know, Jesus Christ. Oh, Carlos CJ Acosta must be in heaven as a marketing guy. What was that? It's not Acosta. I don't even know now. Maybe you're right. I think you're right. The Mad New Yorker we're talking about here. He's a marketing genius. And if he's with us today, I hope he tells us how great it is to see Strauss on both sides of his batting helmet like it's a logo with the Seahawks. Jeez, good God. All sports going in that cart. Oh, again, I'm singling out baseball just because didn't even notice one. I didn't watch enough NBA to really know. Well, you know, I think they do the same thing, though, Danny. I think, and I guess we're probably not the best people for these guys to be advertising to because we don't even notice it. I'm the worst guy for advertisers to come after anyway, because you could do the cleverest thing. I love some of the clever TV commercials. I don't have any problem with commercialism, right? I'm a capitalist. More power to you. Problem is, you make such great commercials, people. I don't even know what you're selling. Some of the best commercials of all time, I couldn't tell you what they were even selling. So, yeah, look, NBA, they put these little overlays on the court and behind the baskets and blah, blah, blah. You see it during Major League Baseball games, at least Yankee games. I'll see a little logo that's, again, a layover, the pitching mound, and they're constantly changing in the backstop. Some of the stadiums, it's a rotating sign, and others, and I think the Yankees do this, it's just something that they plaster, green screen it, like my studio here. Almost didn't make it on time for the show, by the way, because I got myself, I wanted to clean my office area where my studio is also located. Yeah, one thing leads to another, and I'm cleaning, and then I said, well, weather's getting colder. I should replace, I got these little bags to make sure the rodents don't come in. We're pretty airtight here and don't have any problems here, but I don't want any problems. So I go, places where they might try to come in. I got these rodent repellent bags. And so I replaced all them, and I had to take I stick one in the junction box where it's like the Sunday stream of consciousness today, right? The electric box, the fuse box, we would have called it years ago, but there's no fuses. But I keep one in there because, they tend to come down where the wires come in the house. They try to get in through the insulation and whatnot. So I keep one up in there. It took me forever to get because when the builders built this house, dummies, there's two panels. There's the big outside panel, and then there's one inside over the switches. Well, there's no screws holding the one in the switches in. There's nothing to screw into. So you're trying to, hold that one on the inside and get the one up the outside back on it, and crash. About 10 times I dropped these things on my feet. Anyway, good grief. 16 games, Kenny. That's one of the topics I had here today. By the way, I know you're talking about Judge. Judge is stuck on 51. He's not going to break any records. He's not hitting, 12 home runs. Well, he could, theoretically. 15 games left. It's he could theoretically hit 11 home runs. People have been on those kind of streaks before, but it's not likely. And it's 16 games without a home run for Judge. Now, on the flip side of that, Ohtani's going to get the 50-50. He's 47, and I think it's 47 home runs and 48 stolen bases right now as we speak. So I think he's going to get it. And good to see you, Kenny. Hopefully everything's going okay with you. Yeah, we were talking about the advertising on the hats and the Twins catcher. Kenny was a catcher. I mean, in what world does a catcher think it's okay? Even if you're eliminated, it's okay to tell the pitchers the hitters what's coming. Who signs this guy? Danny's hello to Kenny Gifford. Danny with the proper Kenneth Gifford. The Yankees, whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal that all I care about. I don't care if Judge breaks records. It's a great story. What I care about is his team, and I'm not going to bash him right now, Danny. Watch me, careful. Of course, Judge won't give the Keith won't give the Stankies a break. Go, Judge. I hope you really think. Listen, I'm only being realistic. He's not hitting 12 home runs. I'm sorry, 11 home runs in 15 games. I hope he does. Your guy's going 50-50, though. Good for him. But right now, look, I'm happy with the Yankees right now. 2 games ahead of the Orioles. It's important not to play in that first round, in my mind. Get those couple days off. Get your pitching lined up, especially for the Yankees. You would play at least those 3 games at home. You don't fall into the category of having to play 3 on the road like the worst 2 wildcard teams do. Or all the wildcard teams do. No, one can't, right? We got 3 wild cards, so 2 buys. Yeah, 2 wild card teams would have to play all their games on the road. If I got this right. So many teams. I mean, when you have 20 teams in the playoffs, it gets hard to keep track. But the Yankees trying to line up this pitching staff. Nestor now has changed his tune from a week ago. I addressed this on Sunday. I wasn't happy with Nestor's attitude about he pitched 4 2/3 of no hit relief of Clark Schmidt out of the bullpen on Friday, and he wasn't happy because his turn got skipped, and he felt he'd been the work sorry, work's distracting me. He's been the workhorse, excuse me. But somebody's going to have to go to the bullpen. He's got experience and he's done it well. I think the Yankees probably go with Cole, Heel for sure, Rendon, who doesn't fill me with confidence, Stroman, or Schmidt. And Cortez will be the first guy out of the Nestor will be the first guy out of the bullpen. I mean, right now the reliever, the relief pitching is, the closer. It's closer by matchup basically. Luke Weaver, who's pitched great, is listed as the closer, but Clay Holmes pitched good in extra innings the other day. And speaking of extra innings, what a great win by the Mets the other day. They were getting no hit through 8 innings. They were getting no hit through 8 innings, and Francisco Lindor, who I think should be an MVP candidate. I mentioned this at the top of the show. I mentioned it last week. We didn't have a lot of comments on it, so I didn't pursue it. But, I mean, shouldn't Bobby Witt in the American League and Francisco Lindor be considered in the National League, be considered national MVP candidates? I mean, Judge, obviously the Yankees are not where they are without Judge. But they still might be a wild card team. I don't know. The Dodgers, again, have been winners without Ohtani, so I can't say they wouldn't win if Ohtani wasn't in that lineup. But I can tell you that the Royals and the Mets would be nowhere near the playoffs without Lindor and Witt. So, and again, I'm not really saying I'm against Ohtani or Judge getting the MVP. They both had tremendous years. But there's that word in the middle that's really subjective, which is valuable. Right? So, the same guy who signs the quitters from Florida. Who's we talking about? Oh, who's going to sign the guy who? Now, don't again, Rick. Careful. We had this discussion. You can get on the quitters that are gone from Florida State. Don't get on Florida State. It's not their fault. Those guys, every one of them. That's why I can't, I'm not holding it against Florida State because guys didn't play in a bowl game, a meaningless bowl game, by the way. That's why I'd get rid of, now that we got a 12-team playoff, I don't know that I have any bowl games except for the ones that include the playoffs. That's a different topic. I don't want to go into this in a lot of detail because we're talking Major League Baseball. But you can't blame the guys aren't there anymore. I'm not rooting against Florida State because, guys quit last year. Danny's with me. Ohtani and 50-50. Nice. A trip to the World Series. Great. A World Series championship is priceless. 100%. They're great years. I mean, this is why, and I want to see great seasons. I'm rooting for Ohtani to get to 50-50. I was rooting for Judge to get to 62. But at the end of the day, I don't care if he finishes with 51 and slumps for the next 15 games and then goes on a monster tear in the playoffs. Because that's where I need him. As far as I'm concerned, he can sit back a little bit as long as they win the division. He can slump a little bit and then start like 5 games left, really get that momentum going. Now you can't just turn it on and off like that, but we'll see. There's our boy Paul. I know who you are, Paul. What is that? I keep seeing that thing. I think you're pulling a mask over your face there. In that profile picture. That's our boy Paul Spada from Wisconsin, but he's Boston Paul. We want to make sure he knows that he roots for the Red Sox, who are, I think, officially eliminated from the playoff race. I guess they aren't. What am I talking about? That's not true. Tell truce, Keith. Tell truce. Let's look real quick. What do we got here anyway? I don't know where Drew is, but he might be setting his fantasy pitching lineup. I don't know. Maybe he's away. I know he's away. Was he away last week? I don't remember. Oh, it's true. It's our boy Paul. I'm just kidding you, buddy. I forget, like a lot of people pop in. You, Paul, I will not forget. You're a Patriot fan. How am I going to forget you? 5 games, aren't they? Let me see. Let's check. I was just going to check this out. So Boston's 11 back of the division, so they're not mathematically eliminated. 4.5 back in the wild card. 4.5 that's a lot. That's a lot because you got to pass 2 teams, and there's only 15 games left. The Twins hold that last spot. The Tigers, who I liked as my sleeper, and I believe Drew had the same thought, try to crawl back in this race. Still 3.5 back, 6-4 in their last 10. Looks like Skubal will still pitch. X-rays were negative on his injury. But anybody, I got to say, 4.5 is like the max. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt the Red Sox are in it. But, their 4.5 is better than the Mariners because Mariners got even more teams to pass. It's a fun race. We still got a fun race in the National League for the wild card. The D-backs, none of these teams have locked it up. The Diamondbacks and Padres looked like they were gimmies a week ago. But the Mets have played really well to get back in the race. The Braves treading water, but so are the Padres, so are the Diamondbacks, 6-4, but they have won 3 in a row. Cubs 5 back. I think they're probably done. I mean, stranger things have happened. We saw the Mets lose a 7-game lead with 13 to go or something, wasn't it? Or no, maybe 7 with 17 to go. We know what the 64 Phillies did. Pat's rule, 1-0, baby. You'll hear me crow a little bit Sunday, Boston Paul. Your Sox are done. Stick a fork in them. I have to agree. To me, I mean, the American League is probably done in a wild card. 3.5 is even hard. I'll give the Tigers a shot. I'll give the Red Sox and the Mariners, whatever, an outside shot. Just too many teams got to lose. You always need teams. It's not just you winning. I mean, the Red Sox would need the Tigers and the Twins to keep losing while they're winning. Always difficult when you got multiple teams ahead of you like that. And I think in the National League, it's a 4-team race: the Diamondbacks, Padres, Mets, and Braves. Any one of those teams, or any 2 of those teams, I guess, could still win that wild card. The Cubs are done. They're 5 games back. They've been playing better baseball. They've gotten to 4 games over 500. But if I'm in a conversation where it's too bad a team 4 games over 500 doesn't make the playoffs, then we're in bad shape. And sorry, same thing with the Red Sox. They're 1 game over. That's why there's too many teams. There's just too many teams in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I know the Diamondbacks won as a wild card last year. But guys, if I could have my druthers, which I can't, we'd turn back the clock and we'd have 4 divisions and an ALCS and LCS and be done with it. But we can't do that. The divisions, Boston and, Boston. Baltimore and the Yankees still a race, 2 games. Let's check a look at the schedule. Who the Yankees got left? Let's see if they got any series in Baltimore. Hold on. Let's see. Scrolling. Just in case you wonder what I'm doing. 3 big games with Baltimore, 24th, 25th, 26th. By the way, Danny, when are you? You're going out. When are you going out this weekend? Let's see, I think I'm trying to remember the dates you said. I guess it's this weekend. Is it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe, or something like that? Danny will be in Baltimore. But the Yankees and Orioles with one more big series left. That series will likely determine this division, I would say. The Central, I would say the Cleveland Indians, team formerly known as, have probably got this locked up. 4-game lead again with 15 left. You have to go into a serious tailspin, which has happened, to blow this lead. The Royals will likely make the playoffs. And listen, 13 games over 500. It's a good baseball team. And Bobby Witt deserves some first place votes for MVP. The Twins right now 5.5 back, but they are the last wild card team. And then the Tigers are chasing them from the Central. Be interesting. If 3 teams for the Central make it, that'd be amazing. The Astros 4.5 games over the Mariners. The Mariners still trading water. You know, the Dan Wilson move from Scott Surveys. They didn't lose any more ground, but it didn't really give them the boost I think they were looking for. And the Rangers are done. Alan Perales, I'm very sorry. Jacob deGrom will get his first start when this weekend. Maybe it's tonight. I'm not sure. It's this weekend, I believe. That 503 days since his last start. How'd that signing work out for the Rangers? I know they won a World Series, but signing Jacob deGrom to a ridiculous contract did not have anything to do with them winning a World Series. And is Bruce Bochy going to come back? I mean, Bruce Bochy's had health issues in the past. I saw some highlights of Bruce Bochy the other night, and he looked miserable. I don't know that he wants to come back and go through this another season. The A's are the A's, officially going to Sacramento. I don't know when it was unofficial, but MLB says they're definitely going. What a messed up situation this is. And poor Ron Washington keeps suffering. I know there's some of us that don't seem to like Ron Washington. I do. Suffers with the Angels. The Phillies division's wrapped up. Matter of them getting their pitching rotation in gear. The Mets, again, Francisco Lindor's got to Ohtani's likely going to win, but Lindor's got to get some consideration and get some first place votes. He's kept his Mets team afloat, and a great job by their first year manager who's earned his stripes in the Yankees organization. Just saying. The Braves trying to valiantly stay in there with all those injuries they've had. God bless them. Good job. And the Nationals and the Marlins playing out the string. The Brewers have maintained this 9-10 game lead now for quite some time. They're obviously going to win the Central. It's a matter of whether they can get over the hump in the playoffs. They have not. They couldn't do it under Craig Counsell, who left there and became the highest paid manager in the history of baseball with the Cubs. Can they do it? Can they finally get over the hump and win not a World Series? Well, maybe a World Series, but even a playoff series? And the Dodgers, what are the Dodgers going to do I think they've got this division wrapped up. Again, 5 games with 15 to go is a pretty healthy lead. It's a matter of whether both the Diamondbacks and the Padres get in as wild cards. The Giants, who were my sleeper pick in the National League, are just too far back in the wild card standings. For the Dodgers, what's going to be their rotation? It's going to be interesting. Kershaw's hurt, right? So I'm assuming he's not pitching. Who's their 4th starter here, Danny? I'm going to go for your input. I mean, it's obviously, well, right now you got Glasnow out, Kershaw out, Gavin Stone out. So you got 2 healthy starters in Yamamoto, who just came off the disabled list, I believe, and Flaherty. Who else is going to start in a series? I mean, maybe Kershaw and Glasnow are going to be back. I have not checked that close yet, as we've still got a few weeks left before we have to worry about it. But this team could be first round exit material again. Which again, I know that Danny would say in that case Roberts has got to go, but It's the second year in a row that he's managed to win a division. Last year he won 100 games. And I understand they went out in the first round of the playoffs, but you lost your entire rotation at one point last year, and this year too. Every member of this rotation has been on the IL, DL. We don't say IL here. Damn Boston, Paul. Things are rough. We got a little Donnybrook going on here with Danny Fuller, and Boston Paul Spada. Getting a little ugly here. 17th to the 20th. So let's see. Who are you going to see play? Give me some input on the Dodger rotation. You're my guy in Los Angeles. You know, the other guy I know in Los Angeles, I can't listen to what he says because he just hates everything to do with everything to do with LA. I don't know why he lives there. I mean, the man must have to live with security around them 24 hours a day. I love you, Mark. So you're there the 17th to the 20th. So you're getting to see the Giants. What happened to my voice? And maybe Detroit. You're seeing 3 games or 4 games? Oh, there you go. Thank you. I could have got this without looking it up. That'd be a good series. The Giants are not a bad team. I wish Drew were here because I got looking at some stats today, and you know how much I hate war. I hate war. I hate it. It's the most meaningless stat. I shouldn't say me. There are times it does. Good players are going to have good numbers no matter what the stat, right? But all I need to know about war is that the 7th ranked player in Major League Baseball in war is Matt Chapman. That's all. End of story. Don't give me an argument that it's an important stat ever again, please. How's Matt Chapman the 7th best player in Major League Baseball by war? It's a stupid stat. You know? I mean, Brent Rooker has had a decent year with the A's. Is 13th. A lot of what plays into that is the guy that's replacing you. If you got a star that replaces you, well, your WAR is going to be lower. I mean, it's just common sense. I don't understand the formulas. I don't care to understand the formulas. I know that everybody's got their own. But any stat that has Matt Chapman, the 7th most important player in baseball, is not a good stat. And my hands won't stop going, so don't ask me to stop. Oh, God. Your son's going to the Jets-Pats game next week? Go Pats! Game's in Foxborough, I think, right? I think. I'm not sure. It could be in the Meadowlands. I had to think about it. Any word on Ian Anderson? I don't think we're going to see Ian Anderson this year. Let's take a quick look. I see Linda McGrath there from National Streaming Sports. Happy to see her here. I'll get to her comment in just a second. Let's check out Ian Anderson. Shenenda Hoa. By the way, I got some... if I spell his name right, it might be better. Baseball. There it is. Hold on. Let's see if we can get some news on Ian Anderson. Local product. Missed the last season and a half after Tommy John surgery. He had a strong start in AAA. It doesn't look like there's any... When was this? This was September 11th, so it's just 2 days ago. Since August 1st, Anderson's gone at least 5 innings in every start, and that span a 3.54 ERA with 40 strikeouts in 38 innings. It's still up in the air whether he's going to get a start for the season. So it probably depends on the. I mean, he's on the 40-man roster. Theoretically, he could pitch in the playoffs, Rick, but I doubt that's going to happen. By the way, and again, this will be a topic on Sunday for sure. Shenandoah is dropping their Plainsman nickname and logo. What is it? How is that offensive? Somebody explain to me. I mean, what is an offensive? I'm just like beyond done with this stuff. Glasnow is back. Glasnow. Are you back this week? Kershaw's working on a special shoe. So both are possibilities. I hope so, because they got two pitchers right now to pitch to start in the playoffs. Danny knows what I'm talking about. Pittsburgh, Mark Mancini. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, Linda. Good to have you with us. How big do you think the ratings of the Dodger-Yankee series would be? It'd be huge. I mean, again, as big as baseball ratings can be these days. Baseball ratings suck. The games will start too late. I mean, the really good thing about regular season games now is the games start at 7 and they're over at 9 or 9:30. These games will start at 8:30, go to 11, and they'll slow down. You win the pitch clock, guaranteed they'll slow down. So it hurts ratings, but it'll be higher rated than the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. I can tell you that. Yankees and Dodgers haven't played in the World Series since 1981. A series I try to forget. And Danny Fuller is very happy about it. Ratings would, well, again, through the roof is a relative term, Danny, because people aren't watching baseball the way they used to. 20 years ago, they'd have gone through the roof. They went through the roof in 78, 70, or 77, 78, even 81, the strike season. But I don't know what you did, Rick, but good job. The biggest ever? No. Never be the biggest ever. No. I mean, look at highest rate. I mean, Boston, as far as I know, and I'm going to look right now, the Red Sox and the Reds in 1974 was the highest rated baseball World Series ever. And probably ratings have been going down ever since. Let's take a quick look. Because this is a pretty good question, and I should be able to pull up all the ratings. Highest ever. There we go. This might be tough to see. Let's go back to 75 just to see how close I am. This is by game. I hate that. Anyway, they average about 30, 33, 35 share. 78 Yankees and Red Sox around the same. I'm sorry, Yankees and Dodgers about the same. 77 was a bit lower than that. Now we start to go down. 24. 1989, not even at 20. That was the Earthquake World Series, if you remember. I mean, we look at last year. I mean, if we look at the last few years, I mean, terrible. Terrible. 4.7. Sorry, 14 rating. 14. 9 million viewers. 2022, 11 million viewers. 11, 9. I'm looking by game. I mean, you do go up to like 23 tops on the Game 7 Nationals and Astros. It's the only game that's topped 20 million in the last 20 years. And again, you go back to 75. I mean, they averaged 40 million viewers a game. So highest rated ever? No. Nobody's ever getting to 20 and 30 million again. Ever. Never. Not going to happen. There's always hope for baseball. Thanks to you, I returned to basketball for the playoffs. There you go. I mean, again, I'm not saying baseball's dead. I'm just saying people don't watch it the way they used to because it's a tough watch. For what young people want, it's a tough watch. They should start those games at 7:30, not 8:30. 8 o'clock at the latest, not 8:35. Asia. Here's the thing. This is probably U.S. Again, I would guess this is U.S. audience, but this isn't the Super Bowl. These are U.S. households, the numbers I've been giving you. So, yes, you can add Asia in there, and they're huge. But you don't think the U.S. advertisers give a crap about how many people are watching in Japan? And it's not all of Asia, by the way. It's just Japan. Korea doesn't care about Ohtani in the American League World Series. They just don't. It would be, would it get better ratings than probably, let's see, let me go back here again. Would it get better ratings than last year? Absolutely. Would it get better ratings than the Astros and the Phillies? Guys, single digit rating. Barely 10 million people a game watching these games. I'll give you 11 2 years ago. There weren't even averaging 10 million last year. And we'll never know what the numbers are going to be worldwide, but it's still not going to be what it would have been in 75 or 78. Those were the golden years for baseball. I should look quick, see if there's anything that stands out. I got to get back to the 80s, though. In the 80s, they were still averaging Kansas City and St. Louis, which they would have thought was going to be a bad series viewer-wise. They averaged 35 million. You go back to 73 with the Mets in Oakland. 70, they averaged about 38 million, it looks like, a game. A's and Reds, 22 million. Mets and Orioles, 20 million probably they averaged. Maybe a little over. So, again, most watched ever? No, because they're not getting to even those numbers. It's not going to happen. Since we got a couple new people, I'll throw a couple things out there. How crazy are we really happy about the German company, not even an American company, getting a sponsorship on both sides of the helmets for the World Series? So it'll look like I saw the what they look like. It looks like, I'm watching a football game with the Seahawks or something. Stupid. NASCAR is taking over all sports, as Danny talked about. It isn't just baseball. The Twins prospect. You can't give away. Oh, Kumar Rocker makes his debut this week. Kind of up and down with the Rangers. He did strike out 7, and I think he only gave up a couple of hits, but he gave up a few runs. It was a little bit up and down, but it's his debut with the Rangers, and maybe the Rangers have something to look forward there. DeGrom will get his first start in 503 days. Great money spent there, Alan. Where are you, Alan? I know you won a World Series, but it's got nothing to do with that $150 million you threw away on Jacob DeGrom. And I told you that it would hurt you at some point. It's hurting you now. Because this team has had some attrition, and they don't have the financial wherewithal that the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the Phillies have. They just don't have it. And they never will. They can't just piss away that kind of money. White Sox, 126 losses in the bag. Well, 126 isn't, but 121 in the bag. And he's 7 more losses. Probably happen before we do this show next week. Oh, what else you guys got here? Mac. I don't know if it's Mac or Linda. Who is it? Who's this has got to be, got to be Mac. Got to be Mac. We're talking about the Asian audience. Linda's better than that. Just kidding. Anyway, it was the Blue Jays. Bowden Francis is the guy who lost a no-hitter in the 9th inning. He'd been eating the Mets lunch that whole day. This is back on Wednesday, I want to say. And Francisco Lindor, who I think should get some consideration for the MVP, broke up that no-hitter, and the Mets won this game in extra innings. Big win. That's a huge win for the Mets. They've been on a little bit of a mini slump. Carlos Mendoza has done a great job there. Tremendous job. You're welcome, Met fans, for the Yankees training him so well. What else is going on? Let me get to the matchups tonight, and you guys can tell me. You guys got some more topics you want to talk about, some more comments you want me to comment on. You want to bash my shirt a little more, Danny? Dodger blue for you. Solidarity, brother. I want to see you in the World Series. How about that? Then maybe we'll go to New York. Just kidding. Baltimore, big series. The Orioles go to Detroit for the weekend. They start with Eflin against Brisky. This game's in Detroit. Detroit's only 3.5 back of that last wild card, and Baltimore's still fighting for that division series, which I think will come down to that 3-game series with the Yankees on September 25th, starting September 25th. The Royals travel to Pittsburgh, who's playing some pretty good baseball. The Royals probably is okay as far as their spot in the wild card, unless the Tigers find a way to catch them. Alec Marsh against Luis Ortiz. The Mets and Phillies. Bigger game for the Mets. Bigger series for the Mets than the Phillies. The Phillies are locked in, and they can spend the next 2 weeks getting their people rested and getting their pitching rotation ready. The Mets are locked in a battle, not just with the Braves, but with the Diamondbacks and the Padres. 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. It'll be Quintana, who's pitched really well for the Mets, by the way, against Aaron Nola. The Marlins at the Nationals. There's the series that somebody's going to have to pay me to go see. That'll be Cabrera and Hurst tonight. The Red Sox and Yankees. The rivalry continues. It'll be Tanner Houck against Clark Schmidt. It's funny. We talked a few weeks ago. Tanner Houck had hit it. They should shut him down with 139 innings. He's still managed to pitch without getting hurt. Clark Schmidt, big start for Clark Schmidt. It's going to be very interesting. If Schmidt pitches well, he's probably going to get 3 or 4 more starts. Probably 3 more starts. Maybe a 4th. It's possible. It's going to be interesting what the Yankees do, I think, because I think Nestor will be in the bullpen. And it's going to be interesting between Rondon, Schmidt, and who else was I talking about? I just lost track of who I was thinking about. Cole, Heel, and Stroman. I'm sure Stroman's going to get a start. I think it's going to come down to Stroman. Yeah, God, geez, stop it. Rondon, Schmidt, probably to be that 4th starter for the Yankees. Rondon doesn't really have the experience out of the bullpen. Clark Schmidt does, which might mean Clark Schmidt will pitch out of the bullpen in the playoffs. St. Louis will go to Toronto. Fetty against Gausman. Probably a nothing series for sure. The Rays and team formerly known as the Indians. Littell against Beebe. That's the Dodgers at the Braves. Knack against Schwellenbach. Interesting matchup this weekend. Freddie Freeman heading home. Oakland goes to the White Sox. Now, there's a game where if you had your tickets on a windshield, 2 tickets, your windshield be broken, you come back and there'd be 4 tickets instead of 2. Cincinnati at Minnesota. Aguilar against Ober. Reds are a big disappointment this year. Huge disappointment. I think David Bell's in trouble. I'm just saying. Cubs against Colorado. Assad against Gumber. I think Bud Black will be out after this year as well. Houston against the Angels. Kikuchi against Alderegi. Boy, that's a tough one. Where's Drew when I need him? Alderegi. We'll call him Sammy. The Brewers at the Diamondbacks. That's a big series. Peralta against Rodriguez. Again, the Brewers, bigger series for the D-backs than the Brewers, as the Brewers are in the same position as the Phillies, as they can get healthy and get their pitching in order. Rangers against Seattle. DeGrom, that game is tonight. His return after 503 days. and Emerson Hancock, the Padres and the Giants. The Giants out of it. Padres, big series for them. Dylan Cease against Logan Webb. And those series will continue all weekend. What do you got here, Danny? Brewers versus D-backs, best series this weekend. The only reason I agree. It's a good series. Brewers don't have a lot to play for except to stay. You don't want to lose all momentum, obviously, but you're also going to spend some time getting guys healthy. So I would call that one a good series. There's another one. Mets and Philadelphia, I would say, is a good series. Dodgers and Atlanta is a good series still. Other than that, you'd have to pay me or hold me at gunpoint to go to any of these games. Just kidding. Danny, Reds and Pirates, big disappointment. Agreed, both those teams. Cubs too. I think it's interesting, and the Brewers got to be really happy and elated. I like Craig Counsell, but you leave your present team to become the highest paid manager in baseball within your division. Got to feel pretty good for the Brewers. Hello, Matt Lindoff. How are you? I had this problem before, I think, didn't I? I'm going to say Lidioff. I hope. Don't be offended, man. Keith can't say anything except Smith and Jones. Good to see you, though, Matt. Good to have you stop in today. We only got a few minutes left on the show. Great job this. Oh, listen, listen. Thank you, Rick. I'm not great at accepting praise, I suppose, but I don't think I'm certainly doing better than, say, some other interviewers out there. I just get guys on that I'm interested in talking to, and I have some fun. Mackie Sasser this morning was awesome. Down to earth. Rick mentioned the fact that he just, there's no BS with him at all. And we had a lot of fun talking to Mackie about his time in the major leagues and his 25 years at Wallace Community College and his relationship with Keith Griffin, who has done such a great job down there in as a junior college baseball coach, as well as coaching the Amsterdam Mohawks to 9 perfect game league championships, collegiate summer league baseball. Really good baseball. I looked at the number of guys he sent to the major leagues that he sent, right? But played for the Mohawks. It's over 100 guys now. Maybe well over 100. And that doesn't count the last couple of years yet. So love the Cubs and Counsels. Love the Cubs, and Counsell will be watching the Brewers. Love the Cubs, and Counsell will be watching the Brewers. You'll be watching the Brewers? I'm not sure. I have trouble reading sometimes. Anyway, guys, good show today. Fun show. We'll wrap it up now as I don't see any more comments. Thank you again for you guys tuning in and making this a fast hour for me. And we'll be back Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. And also I want to thank my guest this morning, Mackie Sasser, one more time for his tremendous I love these guys. They're open. They're fun. It's easy for me. I spend time researching, and I don't even get to half the questions I have. So we'll do what we got to do. Danny, thank you for your kudos. Thank you for your stars this morning too. By the way, if I didn't say that this morning, you are more than generous, and we have a lot of fun with that. And I appreciate that more than you know, guys. Thank you, Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks MLB update. I don't have any music now. We'll see you on Sunday with the Stream of Consciousness. Take care. Be sure to watch this advertisement. I'm sorry about my Danny, but have to watch the advertisement. And this is partially brought to you by Bet Us. And here's the information, and you'll also see more about streaming sport.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, National Hockey League Conference playoffs, and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing leagues. Betting opportunities include versus the spread and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly. You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI